go. We are now recording. Hi everybody, Zoe here from Learning Boosters. This is Mullet Over Mondays. So today I had a few questions about converting percentages into, converting fractions into percentages and decimals. So I thought we'd have a look at that today. So I'm just going to share my whiteboard with you. So just going to bear with me while I get that up. There we go, and you can still see me in the corner there. All right, so today we're going to look, as I said, at fractions, percent and decimals. So we're going to look at how do we convert those. Okay, so I'm going to just whiz this around a little bit so I can use my finger to write on my screen rather than the pen. Okay, so let's look at a fraction. So let's look at 1/5. All right, so as most of you are probably aware, all fractions, when you need to change them from fraction into percentage, is 100. So the bottom number will always be 100, right? So how do we change that 5 on the 1/5 to 100? Well, this is where division also comes in, so dividing it. So we have to look at how many times does 5 go into 100. So what I do here is we do a little division, which we talked about the other day, you might remember. So we draw a line like that, put the 5 on the outside and 100 on the inside. So 5 won't go into 1, will it? So 5 won't go into 1. So we can't do that. So then we do 5 into 10. So 5 goes into 10 twice, doesn't it? So we'll put a little 2 at the top there. Whoops, that is a 2, believe it or not. So 5 into 10 goes twice. And then 5 into 0 won't go at all. So 5 into 100 goes 20. All right. So let's go back to our 1/5 fraction. So that means that we've got to multiply this by 20 for it to equal the 100. Okay. So whatever we do on the bottom, we have to do exactly the same thing at the top. So 5 times 20 equals 100. 1 times 20 equals 20. All right. Now I'm just going to rub out all this up here. So we've got a bit of clear space. So bear with me a second while I rub it out. Okay, there we go. So now we have a fraction that is over 100, which makes it easier to turn that fraction then into a percent. Because all we do is we take that top number, that 20 that is there. Sorry, I will just change that to a pen, hopefully. Select pen. Anyway, so we change that 20 into a percentage, which is just going to be, oh no, sorry. Sometimes the technology wants to work how you need it to, and sometimes it just doesn't. There we go. So we're going to turn that 20 into 20%. Okay? So then how do we turn that into a decimal? 0.20. So that is how you turn a fraction into a percentage into a decimal. That's a point, by the way. All right, 0.20. Okay. So you have to convert that first fraction of 1/5, and you have to make this bottom number convert it so it makes it into 100. All right. So let's have a look at another one. So let's have a look at an easy one. Let's have a look at half. All right. So we all know that half is going to be 50 because we look at half of 100, don't we? So half of 100 is 50. But let's do it the same way we've done it in this first one. So we have to multiply that 2 by something so that it's going to equal 100. Okay? So what do we multiply that 2 by? Well, again, we go back to our division, which we did the other day, and we look at how many times is 2 going to go into 100. So I usually forget about that second 0 for a minute, and I look at how many times does 2 go into 10. Well, we know that 2 goes into 10 5 times, right? Then we bring that 0 in and we put it next to the 5, so that makes it 50. So we're going to multiply this 2 by 50, which will turn it into 100, won't it? So remember, whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do it to the top. So if we're multiplying the 2 by the 50, we have to multiply the 1 by the 50, because whatever we do at the bottom, we've got to do at the top. So that makes that 50 over 100, which makes it 50%, which makes it 0.50. So again, we're going from the fraction to the percent to the decimal. All right. Now, some people get a little bit confused when that top number hasn't got a 1, but it's got a 3. So let's look at 3/4. All right, so we've got to convert that bottom number again into 100, right? So let's just do the division to work that out. Okay, so I'm going to do this over here and then I'll rub it out. We've got 4, and we've got to look at how many times does 4 go into 100. So let's just have a look at that. 4 is not going to go into 1, is it? So we can't do that. So then we've got to go 4 into 10. So 4 goes into 10 2 times, doesn't it? Yep. Then now we've divided that 4 into the 10, we now need to go up to this 2 at the top, and we need to multiply the 2 by the 4. So 2 4s are 8. Then take that 8 away from the 10. We have 2 left. So the 2 goes next to that 0, and that makes 20. Let me go through that again. We look at how many times 4 will go into 10. We know that's 2. We pop the 2 to the top. And then we have to multiply the 2 by the 4, which is 8. Take the 8 away from the 10. We have 2 left over. We put it next to this 0 here. Because so far we've only looked at how many times 4 went into 10. We haven't looked at how many times 4 goes into 100. So now we've got to do this part of the sum. So we look at how many times does 4 go into 20. And we put the answer up the top here. So we know 5 4s are 20. So we put the 5 up the top there, right? So we now know that 4 goes into 100 25 times. So we go back over here, we go back over to the 4, the bottom number, we've got to multiply that by 25, right? If we multiply the 4 by 25, we then get 100, which is what we want to convert it to a percentage. Whatever we do to the bottom number, we have to do it to the top number. So we multiply that 3 by 25. All right, I'm just going to rub this out. So have a little think about what I've just done and how I've just done it. Just while I rub this out. All right, so we rub that out. Go back to draw and put it on the pencil again. All right, so we go back over here. 4 times 25 is 100. Now we've got to do 3 by 25. All right, let's have a look at that. So 25 times by 3. All right, we've got to do this sum so we can find out what that top number is going to be. So then we can convert it into the percentage and the decimal. All right, so let's look at this. 5 3s, 3 5s are 15. Put the 5 down the bottom, carry the 1 into the next column. 2 3s are 6. 6 plus 1 equals 7. So that means that 25 times by 3 equals 75. So go back over here and we put 75 over the top. So we now have the fraction we need, which is over 100, to then convert it to a percentage. So remember, we just take that top number and we go 75%, okay? And then 0.75 is the decimal. All right, so don't worry about that multiplication sum there. We've done that. So when you already have the fraction over 100, that 3 doesn't want to rub out, does it? When you already have the fraction over 100, you can convert it straight away into the percentage and into the decimal, right? So let's do one more. If we have, say, 13, I've got to go back to the draw, don't I? So 13 over 100, we don't need to convert that. We don't need to do all this that we've done here before. It's already over 100. So we can skip this stage here because it's already over 100. We just go 13%, or we go 0.13. Okay, so that is fractions, changing that simplified fraction, which is what these ones on the left are, the 1/5, 1/2 and 3/4 called simplified fractions. We're expanding them so we can get them over the 100, then turning them into a percentage, and then turning them into a decimal. Okay, so that's how you do percentage, fraction to percentage to decimal. All right, so that's all that we have today. I'll just go back to my normal screen. So where am I? So we want to we want to get out of that and go back to me, looking rather big here. That's it, folks. That's all I had to show you today. I don't seem to have any questions, and that's okay. So that is, as I said, the percentage, the fraction, the percentage, the decimal. So that's simplified fraction. So 1/5 is a simplified fraction. We expanded it to over the 100. All right, so that was 5 goes into, so it was 20, wasn't it? And then we put it into a percentage, which was 20%, and then we put it into a decimal, which is 0.20. All right, so that's it for today, folks. If you'd like any more help on that or anything else, please contact me on my website, www.learningboosters.com.au, and fill out the contact form and I'll give you a ring, or you can give me a ring, and I give half an hour of my time free to see how I can help. Tutoring is just one of the things that I offer. There are some resources on there. So there's my book, Lost in Australia book. I have a times table course that is coming out, and that has some games attached to it also, as well as some actually learning, a bit of rote work there as well. Okay, so if there's some way I can help you with your learning, please get in touch with me. I am here to help. This will be the last separate Mull It Over Monday. I'm combining it with the Wisdom Wednesday, which will happen once a month. So again, with the Wisdom Wednesdays, you can hop on live and you can ask me a question. You can say, Zoe, you did something on fractions and my kid's having trouble. Can you help me out with it? All right, so that's still going to be available to you, but on a slightly different format. So I hope today's session has helped, and I hope to catch up with you soon. Bye.